Welcome to episode 5 of Dads Only.
We're back.
After 2 weeks on the road, thanks for listening in. And while we were away, some miraculous things happened, both on YouTube and other social media platforms that we're on. What happened, Doc?
Well, I don't. Is it a miracle? I guess our subscriber count went up a lot on one of our social media platforms.
On YouTube, it's still, I would say, in an anemic state. It's what, 160 followers?
No, it's
something like that.
It's like
170.
170?
Is it 170? That's
Yeah.
actually pretty good.
Yeah.
Which means we're above 100, right?
Yeah, we're over 100.
Wow. What did we say we're going to do after we hit 100?
Oh no.
Go to Ritz-Carlton.
Yes, we still need to schedule that episode in.
Ritz-Carlton.
So for people who haven't seen the previous episodes, we promised that we would do an episode where we take care of our kids without the help of our wives for 24 hours if we broke 100 subscribers. And so now we are on the hook for that one.
All right, we're gonna book that in the upcoming weeks going into the summer. My vote is still something more interesting. If we just do Ritz-Carlton for 24 hours, it's not that interesting.
We can't do it.
I would love to see Chef at a Motel 6 for 24 hours.
No way, I'm gonna
Motel 6.
No Motel 6 here.
What do you mean? There's plenty of motels. You gotta drive outside of Orlando.
Why did they have to be a motel?
I don't want to go to a motel. That's where people get killed.
Or a hotel?
All right. So what happened the last couple of weeks? You were on vacation. You were on the cruise.
Yeah.
You went to like a
It's
crypto
called,
conference.
It's called ETHDenver.
Let's cover the cruise first. What happened on the cruise?
Not much. We just ate too much. You know, if you guys have ever been on a cruise, it's everything's like all you can eat basically.
Amazing.
The entire time you're there. We only went for 3 or 4 days. But I managed to gain 9 pounds.
You gained 9 pounds.
That was bad. So,
What?
Which thankfully I've lost most of that already. But
Eating what, like tofu for the last week?
yeah, just eating super healthy.
Tofu does work.
Yeah, tofu. You know.
Did you meet any friends on the cruise?
Friends like
Other families, other party goers?
No, I was too busy running around to the water slides with my daughter. It's just that's basically like 3 days of water slides.
What an amazing life. Which brand of cruise were you on?
We were on Royal Caribbean.
Royal Caribbean. Awesome. Are you like a elite member of
Not
RC?
yet. Not yet.
Not yet.
I just have the regular status for having gone on one cruise before, but maybe soon.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Highly recommended, I assume.
Yeah. No, I love cruises. You know, as long as you're not worried about the environmental impact of your cruise, which is I don't know.
And what do you have in your hands?
Dude.
What is that?
I got like a whole suitcase of swags from ETHDenver. First of all, admission is free, and in addition, you get there's a lot of booths there.
Wait, admission to ETHDenver is free?
Yeah,
No,
it is free.
I thought there were tickets and stuff.
The tickets are free. You apply to it, and you get in for free because there are so many sponsors.
I see. Wow. That's
In
cool.
fact, they left like 40 million off the table. Like there were 40 million more sponsorship, and they were
wow.
we have so much money.
Like spare cash.
Yeah, they're like, we don't want any more sponsors.
We should do a dads only conference.
I don't think we'll get that much, but
No, we should get the 40 million.
We should get the 40 million from.
If it's
There's
a
extra 40 million lying around. Are you kidding me?
That's because it's ETHDenver. Do you have an L1?
Yeah.
What L1 are you running?
The dads only L1.
It's with your shit coins.
Wait, I thought
No
it's all
one
about
cares,
L2s now. You know, just had to.
So what happened at ETHDenver?
So
Yeah.
it's basically about Ethereum. A couple of days conference. There's like a huge hackathon.
Okay.
You get to meet really cool people, and there are a shit ton of parties. They're all like college parties.
Yeah.
Yeah. Went to one. It was in the house, and there were like 200 people
College
packed in the house. I was like, this is too crazy.
You're too old for that.
Too old for
basically.
that.
Yeah.
But that is wild.
Did you party a lot in college?
No.
No. This is your chance.
No. It's too
Was
old for
everyone
that.
else
Jeff?
there like in their 20s though?
I feel like there were a bunch of 14-year-olds running around.
There's really old people.
There's really.
Really?
Yeah,
Like
most people
two.
are like 30, 40s. I think there are some 20s.
Yeah.
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 What-
'Cause I went to
Oh,
No, I went to a conference, the one that you invited me to actually, and
oh, that's a much tamer conference.
it's much tamer.
It's much tamer. This one's like
This
I'll
one's
just
fun.
say that most of the developers are fresh out of college.
Right.
And I felt so decrepit, so old.
And there's an arcade. There's like Dance Dance Revolution, all sorts of arcade.
You play DDR?
Yeah.
Wait, are
Yeah?
people still
Yeah.
playing DDR?
There are people still playing DDR.
How good are you with DDR?
I'm okay.
What's
I'm just
okay?
okay. Like
Oh, man.
probably just like
You're too modest,
on
Chef.
normal
You're too modest.
probably do okay.
Do you,
All right.
what else happened there? Any like the stuffed animals was
Dude, it's like I just go to a booth and
Yeah.
they have a claw machine. You talk to the guy
Yeah.
and you get to try it. And I got this.
Oh, you don't have to pay for this claw
No, it's
machine.
it's free.
Unlimited tries.
You talk to them and you get like a try. I actually got this in one try.
Wait, you're forced to speak to these
Yeah,
people.
you have to talk.
for
Like the whole
tries?
point, they're not gonna like they want you to talk to them. They want developers to talk to them.
Oh, about their project?
Yeah,
or
yeah. So
something?
it's like
Oh,
you talk to them and then you get to like try it.
I see.
Got this
I
like
see.
really cute dinosaur. It's actually my daughter's favorite. She used to like this bear at home, but now it's this dinosaur.
sponsored by Ethereum.
This one is a buffer core.
So
Got
so
this in the claw machine also.
I was at Denver as well for a couple of things. Was there for a bit of skiing. Was also there for ETHDenver as well. And my takeaway from ETHDenver is the outrageous prices they have for stupid plastic and paper bags
That's
in
a bad
grocery
pick.
stores.
That's
In
a
grocery
bad
stores.
pick.
That was my takeaway from Denver.
No one cares about paying 25 cents.
Are you kidding me? Like, imagine you go and you spend like, $10 buying some groceries. You're paying 25 cents on top for a single bag.
Yeah, but,
for a
like,
single bag. California, for the record, California is 10 cents. New York is
Yeah. Well, it depends on the store, but like Target was a nickel.
a nickel in New York. And then, I was used to 10 cents. You go to these stores and they're asking for a quarter. Outrageous. Absolutely outrageous. Do you know what I did afterwards? I came back to Orlando, came back to the beautiful state of Florida, went to Whole Foods, and I took a whole stack of paper bags.
Yeah.
The lady was like,
bags are
"You're
always
welcome."
free in Florida. This is like the one.
"Thank you for coming to Whole
last-
Foods."
Yeah, the last bastion of the free shopping bag. Yeah. But
Would you pay a quarter for a paper bag?
I don't know about a quarter, but they are gonna ban it in Florida eventually. Yeah, we're just like
No.
yeah,
No.
no, it's scheduled in. We're just
Wait,
on like
hold on a
delayed
sec.
timeline.
Imagine you're in a Denver grocery store. Albertsons, not Albertsons. Kroger. You're in a Denver Kroger grocery store. And you have a bunch of stuff that you need to carry to the car. And the lady's like, 25 cents. Or maybe 50 because you have so much stuff. Would you pay 50 cents?
well,
Or,
you know,
or
I
would you
think-
just push
I
the
think-
car out and
I-
dump it into the car?
I think in the places where you have these fees, most people have the reusable bags. It's just that then you forget to bring it into the store all the
Exactly.
time. So then I would always be like juggling stuff.
So you would not pay for the plastic
I
bags?
wouldn't because I had the bag. I had the bag in my trunk, and I'd be like, it's in my trunk. I'm just gonna carry it to the trunk, but I look a little silly in the parking lot. As I'm like
I
juggling.
mean, that's okay.
And you would pay.
It's okay. It's 25 cents.
He makes too much money.
But then
that's
that's
why.
not.
No,
No.
The
It's not
sushi
25
restaurant's doing really well. Chef is making too much money. That's why he doesn't care about 50 cents.
The problem is more that then you're defeating the point of the 25-cent fee.
I also reuse my bags when I pay 25 cents.
Wait, you pay 25 cents and you reuse your bags?
No, like I pay 25 cents for the bag and I would
okay.
bring it back next time to reuse it.
Yeah.
But when you bring the bag back, they're like 25 additional cents. They don't know whether it's an old bag or a new bag.
What do you mean? It looks like shit.
No,
You
no.
can
I
tell.
think most places don't.
Most
don't
places can
like-
tell.
It would be so ironic if they charge him again.
You
That
know,
would be
you know
funny.
what the problem
That
is with
hasn't
these?
happened.
Actually, the real problem with these bag charges is that people end up buying the reusable bags for like $1, $2, like the really sturdy ones.
Yeah.
But then they end up buying a new one every time they go to the supermarket. 'Cause they
That's
forget the
even
bag.
worse. Yeah.
Yeah. So now you're just wasting $2 worth of plastic instead of like a nickel worth of plastic. And it's apparently also environmentally disastrous. So you basically can't win with this stuff. So I don't know.
The solution is to do what
Paper.
Doc does, which is carry it to the car.
Or move to Florida and
Or-
enjoy the next like 2 years before they start banning everything.
Won't happen.
Huh?
over my dead body.
No, I think it's already like proposed.
No.
Yeah. I think it's already like on the schedule or something.
All right. Let's move on to the real first topic of today, which is requested by some of our fans on some of our other platforms.
Ooh, finally, a topic suggested by our fans. We love it.
And the topic is growing up Asian.
Yeah.
In
It's
America.
not like you don't have a. It's not like you have a choice. I woke up and I want to be white today. What are you talking about?
So I'll go first. I came here when I was 7, directly from mainland China, and I moved to a pretty southern state. It was below the Mason-Dixon line. It was Tennessee was the state, Nashville was the city, and it definitely was a stark contrast to what I was used to back in China. Before I like truly dive in, I think we should go over to Chef and Doc and provide the high level context here and here as well. So I came here when I was 7. You came here
Oh, I was 6 months old. So
6
I basically
months
lived
old.
in America my whole life. Yeah.
to New York,
To New York City.
to New York City, also from China.
Yes.
And then your story was,
Moved here when I was 10 to Canada, Vancouver,
and you came here from
from Hong Kong.
Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Oh, Hong Kong.
So you moved to Canada when you were 10.
I moved to Canada when I was 10. Moved to
And then-
US when I went to college.
Oh, okay.
And you were born in Hong Kong.
Yeah.
Oh, cool, awesome.
Yeah.
So
So technically, there's been false advertising on one of our social media channels.
look. He eventually made it to the U.S. right, and you've been in the
Right,
U.S.
but no, technically
Right.
none
We're
of
not
us were
American
born.
born.
Oh, that's true. That is true. We are not pure ABCs,
Yeah,
Per se.
In fact, we're technically not ABCs at all.
but our English is really good, apparently.
Yeah.
All right, so I'll go first. It was Nashville is a very interesting place. In hindsight, compared to all the other cities that I've been in, which is quite a bit. I've been bouncing around the United States since I've been here. Nashville to Philly to Cambridge and Boston over in Massachusetts to Seattle to San Francisco in California and now here to Florida. I basically made a big circle around the U.S. Compared to all the other places, I would say Nashville is up there in terms of just overall niceness.
Oh,
Seriously, like compared to Philly, right? When you merge onto the highway in a car, like people will slow down, they'll wave you on. It's like,
wow.
come on
That
in.
doesn't happen.
It's
doesn't happen here.
southern hospitality at its best. Versus like Philadelphia, if you drive into New Jersey, especially
no,
New York,
You're done.
oh, they're gonna crash into you basically. It was absolutely it's an absolute stark contrast, Nashville to Philly. But in terms of the childhood itself, I was very fortunate to have 2 other Asian girls in my grade when I first came here. They were twins. They also spoke a little bit of Chinese. They were fluent in English. I did not really understand English at all. I came here with only a few words in my English vocabulary, including the words banana and boys' bathroom. So I knew 3 words coming to the United States: banana, boys' bathroom, which I think are pretty important words, right?
Well, how is banana useful?
When I'm hungry.
Or when people insult you. Yeah, for people who don't know, people, insult some Asian people as a banana if they say you're, yellow on the outside and white on the inside.
I can't wait for your story. But anyways, so because the 2 girls were there, I basically had a handicap. I literally had 2 crutches left and right, and these girls would help me translate almost everything.
Oh, that's fantastic, actually.
There's this program called ESL, which stands for English as a Second Language,
Right,
and most of us, I
Yeah.
think,
How many people were in your class?
the ESL class was like 14, 15 people.
okay.
However, here's the problem. I stayed in ESL for years.
Really?
You're not supposed to stay in ESL
Yeah, you're
for more
supposed
than
to come
like a
out in like a
semester.
couple of years.
Nope.
Yeah.
It's because I had these 2 twins helping me translate.
They were your crutches.
They were my
yeah.
crutches.
They held you back,
They
actually.
did help me. They did hold me back. They absolutely held me back. And I cycled through a few of these ESL groups and I was still in there, not really understanding English. But
you still made it to Harvard.
I still made it. I still
Yeah.
made it. On the math
Wow.
side, though, it was absolutely hilarious. Typically, the people in China or coming from China, the math skills they learn early on is way more advanced than elementary school math here in the United States. And especially the sheets whereby it's just numbers, like this plus this or this multiplied by that. You have an hour to do the exam. I would finish in like 5 minutes. And I would see these kids over here like counting using their fingers. It's like, what is 3 minus 7 or whatever.
Hey, it's the American way. Actually. All right, well, I'll
Anyways,
talk about it later.
so the math, all the other stuff was easy. The English component was really, really hard, and it was only after I would say 4th grade. So it took three grades for me to really get up to par with the rest of the program. But yeah, like it was public schools in the Deep South, in Nashville. That's where the initial magic happened for me. All right, let's move to Doc and talk about his story growing up in New York City. Yeah.
Well, it has its pros and cons. New York City is a huge, one of the biggest. Well, actually, it is the biggest city in the United States, and so you have a ton of diversity. You had a ton of people who are immigrants. I grew up back there in the '80s, so it was very different than today. It wasn't already like the neighborhoods weren't already super diverse necessarily. So sometimes you'd be the only Chinese American family somewhere, and it was pretty common for that to be the experience. But you also did meet people like rapidly moving in from all over the place, like Latin American immigrants, South Asian immigrants. And so you had like all these people around you, and I thought that's probably one of the positives. You get exposure to all kinds of people from all over the world. And you all kind of you're all sort of thrown into like the same situation almost, and there's like a lot of common experiences regardless of where you're from, because you're all sort of like trying to adapt to America. And I thought that was a great positive. And the other positive that I think is growing up, sort of like how you had the 2 girls there who are also Chinese American. Just having other people that, have come from a similar background.
I just had those two girls, just the twins. That's it.
I didn't have that many people either in the early days. Yeah. So like sometimes I would be like one of like two or three Asian kids in the class.
And who else is in the class? Is it more white people or African Americans?
Well, it depends on the school I went to. I've been to a lot of schools. So there was a point in my childhood that I went to a school in the projects in New York City.
What are the projects for the audience?
Well, they're housing projects, which I think do they have that in everywhere? I think they have that everywhere in the U.S.
In the U.S., yes.
Yeah, but I don't, maybe
So
other
it's
countries.
basically low income areas, right, where the
Yeah.
houses are heavily subsidized.
Right.
Yeah.
But they're usually not the best neighborhoods. But to be fair, this housing project was one of the safer ones the safest one actually in New York City.
For the record, you weren't living there, but you were going.
I wasn't
school.
living there. I wasn't living there.
You were going to school near that area.
I was going to school
In that area.
In that
Oh,
area.
in the area.
because New York City had this program where they wanted to back then to improve diversity, so they would bus people from different neighborhoods
Oh boy.
to mix everything up. And,
Yeah.
and that school, for whatever reason, actually wanted me to go there. And my parents, for some reason, thought this would be a good
That's
idea.
a great idea to send them into the projects.
I think perhaps they didn't think this one through that well. But
How many years
that's
were you
what
there?
it is. I was there, let's see. 3 years at
3
the
years.
elementary school, yeah, before
Did
we
you
moved.
Did you
yeah.
make friends in that school?
I did make friends, but I think it was like a couple good friends, but
What about the other side? Did you have any bullies?
I did have bullies because there were a lot of troubled kids.
And
Troubled
what
kids.
would these bullies do to you?
bad things. Really, it was just this one bully who was really problematic.
Was he like bigger than you?
Yeah, he was like I was in like second grade or third grade or something.
Yeah.
And there was like a fifth grader bully who like tried to push me down a flight of stairs. And I think he probably did push me down a flight of stairs, but I don't have a great memory of it because I probably hit my head.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
That was bad.
That's not good.
But at least he did get in trouble. He did get suspended for like a long
For
time.
pushing you down the stairs,
Yes,
basically.
Yes. So that was not fun. But
Did
otherwise,
you get the bully back? Did you seek revenge?
not that bully. He was too big. But apparently, yeah. But apparently, I did get the other
What was-
similarly sized bullies back.
What was the most sweet revenge tactic that you used? How did you get them back?
Oh man, this was probably later on. This is not. I don't have my memories are not great from when I was 7, to be honest. But later on in life, somebody was trying to bully me at school. So I threw an entire school lunch tray in their book bag when they weren't looking. And I don't even think they realized it was me until much later on.
Amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. But then we ended up becoming friends. So you can
One of
actually become
those-
friends.
it's one of
with
those
your bullies,
stories.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
And then I told him that was me.
So overall, though, like it was a pretty diverse location. There was people of all races.
Yeah, there were
ethnicities.
people of all ethnicities, and
Yeah.
I do think, based on my experiences later on in life,
Yeah.
like when I went to college, I met people who had, lived in very not diverse parts of America, like
Right.
Chinese Americans,
Right.
And I think it took a little bit of a mental impact on some of them, like it affected them in like maybe ways that they don't even consciously
How
know.
are they affected?
I feel like the people who had grown up in places where there were no other people who looked like them maybe had like a little bit of an inferiority complex about being Asian. Like,
I don't have that.
yeah, you clearly don't have that.
I love being Asian.
But no, there were definitely people who like I could tell like
Interesting.
they would put down Asian people in conversation.
Oh, that's
like,
not good.
Just casually.
Yeah.
I'd be like that's weird.
So unlike
you are Asian,
unlike Doc, Chef, his environment was basically the opposite.
It's definitely the opposite. Vancouver has a lot of Chinese people. In fact, my school, 90% of the people in my school were Asian.
90%.
90%. You wouldn't even know you're in Vancouver.
That's like more Asian than certain parts of Shanghai.
Yeah, like you would think you're in like an international school in Asia.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's incredible. 90%.
Yeah. So most of my friends speak Chinese, and we speak Chinese in class and got in trouble.
Wait, what? You can,
Yeah.
You can get in trouble for speaking Chinese?
Yeah, like the teacher is like, "What are you guys talking about? Speak English."
Yeah.
That's racist.
I
That's
mean,
racist.
I mean, you're in school.
I mean, you can't chat in
Yeah.
class, in a language the teacher
Well,
doesn't
anyway,
understand. You're talking smack about the teacher.
yeah. Anyways, my English is poor, and my grammar is terrible as a result. So I think Vancouver is a great place for if you don't want to get bullied, because you don't really get bullied.
So unlike Doc over here,
Yeah.
you had no bullies in high school or middle school?
Not really. I don't remember. It's just like
Maybe he was a bully.
I'm not a bully. It's like
Maybe he was a bully. He's
Maybe all these Asian kids in Vancouver are just very nice.
People are just
to
like very
everyone.
tame, I think, in comparison to American high school. Like I heard horror story where people got locked in a locker, got bullied.
That's very normal.
Yeah.
Is that very normal?
Well, I don't
Chef,
know.
that's very normal.
Okay, I was
our,
like,
our lockers were not that big, so you couldn't physically fit in one of our lockers.
So you fit the smaller kids into a locker.
that
You
is
can't bully the
terrible.
people, because their size is too big. You go
Oh,
down a
man.
couple of grades, and you
Oh,
put the
man.
smaller kids
Oh,
in
wow.
lockers.
Is that something that happens all the time?
Absolutely. At least where I grew up.
Did you get locked in a locker?
I did not. I was more on the other side of putting kids in lockers.
Oh, you're
Oh,
a
wow.
bully. Oh,
This guy's
man.
a bully.
No.
He's too big. It doesn't fit. This guy's
Yeah, no. By the time I went to high school,
Yeah.
I went to like a very nerdy high school.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
There were no like there's no one like really physically more intimidating than you.
Yeah, he went to one of the best high schools in New York. I moved right from Nashville to Philadelphia, and I moved to a public high school in Philly where, it wasn't as, I guess, calm as Vancouver. But the rest of your experience, anything else that you want to call out about Vancouver?
I just think it's not very like people. Everyone wants to be a doctor or a lawyer. No one wants to be an engineer. So that was like it was kind of lonely for me. It's like I was really into
in high school. Nobody wanted to be an engineer. I'm sure that has changed at this point.
Yeah, I think right now everyone's like let's program. But back then it was like we all want to be. Most people want to be doctors and lawyers.
Or you're in like robotics clubs and stuff.
There's no robotics.
There's no
club.
robotics.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like
What?
I was trying to make robots, got stuck. I have to go to the teacher. He's not even. Yeah, it's
The
really,
English teacher.
not the English teacher. It's like, anyways, like there wasn't really like computer science classes also.
Yeah.
Do you still stay in touch with the friends that you have in high school?
Not really.
Not really.
I think it's like it's just like we have different interests.
Yeah.
It's like no one really programs,
I see.
and I mean, most of the time I talk about
Yeah.
like coding and stuff like that.
Well, I think my high school friends I'm still close with are the ones that also went to college with me later on.
Ah,
Yeah.
that makes sense.
So
That makes sense.
Yeah.
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 I think you make your best friends in college.
So of the three places, the deep south in the United States, whereby it's mostly white folks, Vancouver, which is mostly Asians, and New York, which is a hodgepodge of basically everything.
Yeah.
Where would you want to send your kids ultimately, if you had a choice between
If I
these
had a
three areas?
choice.
Yeah.
I think it'd be like Orlando. I think it's a good mix. It's nice, diverse.
Orlando has a good mix as well.
Yeah. There's
Yeah.
enough Asian people that people don't look at you like you're from like outer space, Because
Yeah.
I've been to parts of the country where there's just not enough Asian
Right,
people.
right.
And you go to the supermarket and people just ask you weird questions like,
Do you speak English?
do you speak English? Where are you from? And sometimes they're not even like, I'm not saying they're racist or anything.
They're
like
just
that.
curious.
They're just like, they just love you. I've like never seen you. They don't know how to like interact with you. So you're like really special. So
Can I touch your skin like that?
sometimes it would get a little creepy. I'd be like, why are you asking me this? And sometimes like one time this like old Vietnam war vet came up to me, starts asking me where
a
I'm
white
from.
guy. A white guy.
Well, that's the thing. It turns out he was half Chinese, and
What?
that's why he was so excited to see me,
Interesting.
because he hadn't seen another Asian person in like
Yeah.
a long time, and he was
Yeah.
super excited that I was Asian. But I was scared when he first ran up to me. He's like, "Where are you from?"
Where are you from?
I'm like, wait, where's this going? Like,
This is
like
New York
yeah.
or somewhere else?
This was actually New York State, but
Okay.
rural New York State, where
up
there's
there.
yeah, up there, where there's not that many Asian people. I was probably the first Chinese American guy I'd seen in months.
Yeah, I think it's good to be diverse, but you don't want it to be at the point where you're the only one.
Yeah. Like, you just need enough diversity that people don't look at you like they've never seen you, like someone who looks like you before, because then it's just like people don't know how to interact with you. They're like, oh, you're like this strange thing. But I think it's getting better anyways. I think it is getting a lot
I think the
better.
pendulum, frankly, has swung too much the other way. Like if you look at Cupertino, right? Everybody is Asian. The mailman is Asian. When the mailman becomes Asian, you know something's up. The firefighter is Asian. The doctors obviously are Asian.
What's wrong with an Asian firefighter? Come on.
When have you seen an Asian firefighter besides in Asia and Cupertino?
No, I see Asian cops all the time in
Yeah.
Orlando, actually.
Really?
Actually kind of cool.
Huh.
Yeah,
That's
I like
kinda
it.
cool.
I like it. Yeah, I see them policing around in their cruisers.
All right, let's go on to topic number 2, which is around dating apps or dating in general. This is also a fan favorite from one of our social media platforms. They want to understand, I guess, the classic
in
question,
America?
dating in America and how we met our wife.
Yeah.
Or how I met your mother when you talk to your kids.
That's right. That's right.
Well, I'll be honest with you. Like this is a very skewed view of
This is the
dating.
dad's only view of dating.
This is like a bunch of
Hot dads
hot
talking about
dads, yeah,
dating.
overly educated. Let's just say people. So I feel like maybe people meet their spouses differently if they're not. I don't know.
Look, today in America, most people have moved over to some form of online dating. A long time ago, when online dating just started, it was like the Match.coms of the world, Plenty of Fish, like the older websites. Nowadays, like it's a slew of apps that people install. Obviously, people have heard of Tinder. I love Tinder.
Yeah.
Then you have like Coffee Meets Bagel. Then you have Hinge. You have Bumble. You have
Right. They're all like clones of each other,
right,
really.
right, and they actually are all owned by Match.com.
That's right.
That went through and bought a bunch of these modern day dating
Or
apps.
like 95% are owned by the same company. Yeah.
Right. And the premise is pretty simple. You put up a couple pictures. There's some prompts whereby you answer some interesting questions, and you have every day that goes by, you have a certain number of swipes that you can do. Yes, like basically they show you a bunch of would-be matches. You swipe left, swipe right, right for yes, left for no. And if there's a match, basically both sides like each other, you have the ability to talk to that person. That's the general construct of these apps. Some of these apps in America, they're configured slightly differently for their twist or their flavor. For example, Bumble, I believe girls move first.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So there's a slight tweak to the algorithm and how things work.
So I'm like I've been married long enough that most of these apps
has
were
no
not
clue.
out. We're not out. Okay. No, I did use a couple of them. The first couple.
Use Tinder.
I didn't use Tinder. Actually,
didn't use Tinder?
No. Actually, I don't even remember if it was out. Actually, I
Which-
used
which-
Coffee Meets Bagel.
Coffee Meets
Yeah.
Bagel. Do you also use
Yeah.
Coffee Meets Bagel, right?
They were actually doing a user interview. I went to their office.
Oh, really?
See, that's how he met his wife.
No,
Oh,
that's
wow.
not how I met my
Wait,
wife.
this was a long time ago.
It was a
then.
long time.
He
They
went-
were
Yeah,
hiring
yeah.
engineer. I'm like,
So me and my wife were one of the first couples to match on Coffee Meets Bagel.
No,
'Cause
really?
They actually sent us an email saying congrats, like when we like paired off in the app or something. Yeah, and they like
Did you go-
offered us a bottle of wine, but then they stiffed us on the bottle of wine. So I was like, that's
Come
not
on.
cool. That's not cool.
Did you tell them that you got married eventually?
No. After they stiffed me on that bottle of wine.
You stopped talking.
otherwise they would have a customer testimonial.
I know.
On the website.
This guy's basically trying to get a job at the dating
No,
app
no. It's like,
to force match himself with
No,
all
no,
the pretty
no,
girls.
no,
Is
no.
that what happened?
no, they sent me an email. It's like, they want to do a user interview and you get some like extra credits or something like that.
Beans.
They offered
Beans.
dating app credits.
Yeah,
Beans.
that's right. I was like, sure.
Beans.
Oh my
Yeah.
goodness.
Yeah. Beans.
That's right, the coffee beans.
Yeah. I actually talked to one of the founder. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, actually, me and my wife are only married because she used some beans to like try to rematch with me.
So this is the thing, right? Like ultimately these apps need to make money. And in terms of how they monetize with these gamification tactics.
Yeah.
Basically you swipe. You're getting into the thing, into the rhythm, into the mood. And then all of a sudden there's a big paywall that basically appears saying that, hey, that's it for the day. You have to wait 24 hours to come back to basically see the next set of your would-be people that you can swipe.
Right.
And I think a lot of folks, especially girls, you know what, whatever. I'll just wait till tomorrow. Because guess what? There are so many inbound matches on their end of guys swiping on their profile. So they're seeing a stream of people coming in. But for Asian guys or for guys on the other side, it's pretty tough, especially if you're in certain areas, right?
If you're in California, in Silicon Valley,
So
Right, because the ratio of guys to girls.
it's
is
like a
all
drought.
messed up. I'll be honest with you though. If anybody is using one of these apps, it matters so much like how you build your profile.
absolutely.
Yeah, because I actually paid to look at my metrics on
Oh.
Coffee Meets Bagel.
See, another way to make money
Yeah,
right
another
there.
way to make money. And then I was reading like how to like what photos you should be putting up.
Yeah.
And I made a few changes and my profile skyrocketed in terms of like percentage
I see.
desirability.
There's
amongst,
actually a
profiles.
data science blog that Match.com used to run, and they tell you what is the most
Yeah.
effective.
But see,
like,
if
first
everyone
line.
knows the secrets,
Right.
then there's no.
Right. It's like out of all the like first sentence that you say, it's like which one has the highest response rate. Like it's very statistical.
The thing that bothers me is ultimately, if you think about success from the user's perspective, from our perspective versus from the company's perspective, there's a mismatch in metrics, right? What we're trying to do is, all right, let's find the significant other and move on. What they're trying to do is keep you there as long as they possibly can.
That's true. That's true.
Is
If
that
you're- if
true?
you're-
Like people on Tinder, are they trying to get married?
Okay, Tinder is a little bit different.
Okay,
Tinder is a little
yeah.
bit different. I'm talking about Hinge. I'm talking about some of these other
but that
other
is
apps.
true, right? If all your users are married, you no longer have.
You just lost
customers.
users.
There are always new users coming online.
Look,
Yes.
So here is basically my approach.
This is a conspiracy theory. Are dating apps trying to keep you single?
Absolutely is the answer. And here's my approach to defeating the algorithm. Played around with it, hit these paywalls, kind of got frustrated being an Asian guy in California trying to find a girl. It's pretty tough. Average looking Asian guy, sub average looking Asian guy. It's pretty tough. So what I did was, you know what? Let's go all in. And my
Pay for the
definition,
beans.
my definition of all in is literally
Swipe.
I got on every app. I paid the maximum amount of money for the highest possible tier for the most amount of beans, whereby literally I was paying to
shotgunned
win.
it. You
I
shotgunned
shot.
it.
Well, it was like beyond shotgun.
and what did you? What was the result of this?
The result was this. So I'm not sure if you've seen the bottom of Tinder before, or if you've seen the bottom of Hinge.
Bottom.
I have seen the bottom of all of these dating apps during that period in time. So my theory was, look, assuming I want to find my wife during this period in time, there is a finite number of girls that you can possibly match with. And if you just spend all the money, I spent like $900 across all these apps. You spend all the money that you possibly can spend, you will see the end result. You'll see the subset of girls that's willing to talk to you. And that's exactly what I did. It was like a full-time job at that point. So my hands were hurting towards the end. And
wait. Did you read one of these like articles where it said you were supposed to date like 1,000 people? Or
No.
something?
No.
Is this
No.
Like, was this the goal?
this is not the goal. My goal was to basically pick the creme de la creme from the available batch at that period in time and do my best. And that's exactly what happened. That's how I met my wife. She was a Stanford undergrad at that point in time. No, I wasn't. I wasn't dating an 18-year-old. Her story is actually a pretty complex story. She got into Stanford, did 2 years, went back to China for a bit, and came back, and it worked out. So that was my approach.
He was not being a creeper.
I was not being a creeper, even though a bunch of my friends thought I was a creeper. It's like, hey, who are you dating? Oh, she goes to Stanford.
Girl at Stanford.
Stanford PhD? No. Stanford Masters? No. Stanford undergrad? You're dating an 18-year-old? No. Anyways, so that was my approach.
Yeah.
Did you have I assume you were
I
just
did like
early.
the opposite of this.
You dated 50 girls.
I dated. I don't know how many girls I
Yeah.
dated. I didn't actually date that many people though.
Yeah.
I just actually I was on these sites
Yeah.
and I probably turned down most dates. That
Oh wow.
I don't know. I didn't get that many dates. I just turned down most of them. Yeah.
Wow.
I don't know. It just didn't seem like the people messaging me would be compatible.
New York is a different place
New
altogether.
York is different.
New York is
Also,
great.
I don't know if you guys have ever had this experience where like people message you on the dating app.
That's weird.
That's
Like,
weird.
has that ever happened?
No, that has not
It's
happened.
happened to me
I
a
also
couple
don't know that
times.
many girls.
No. And like some of these people, they were cool, but like
Cool.
my point is, no, it's like just kind of it's like weird. It's like, oh, I know you already, but like you're messaging me in the dating app. Like
Yeah.
that's it's kind of like an
Just
awkward-
text me, right? Like stop messaging
Yeah,
me through the
yeah.
dating app.
It's like it is. Yeah, it's like hey.
And
I don't know. It's awkward. Yeah.
how many dates did you go on, or were you using Which app were you using?
Coffee Meets Bagel.
Coffee Meets Bagel
Oh,
as well.
really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. There's 2 Coffee Meets Bagel.
Yeah.
And one Hinge.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
Not that many. Let me just say that. Yeah. It's for a guy in California.
But I
Asian
think-
guy in California.
I think
Super
Coffee
hard.
Meets Bagel was trying to do this like quality over quantity strategy, right? Like, or
It's
something
more
like
like for people to buy more beans.
or make
Yeah.
you buy more beans. Well, no. When me and my wife were dating, it was a hard limit. You couldn't bypass the 1 a day. It was a 1 a day.
One a
Right,
day.
right.
Crazy.
A long time ago.
Yeah, it was a long
Yeah.
time ago. So I was being very passive. I was also busy working. I was
Where-
training residency.
Where did you take your wife to the first date?
Went to dim sum at Palo Alto.
Oh,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
Nice.
cute. That's cute.
Oh, this is in California. Right?
This is-
Did you know
California.
she was the one when you were having dim sum with her?
No. But
So
I mean,
did you?
you're supposed to like know
Well,
each other.
how
first
would you
time.
know someone's the one on the first date?
First date. When I
No.
absolutely the case.
It could be a facade.
No, not-
It could be a facade.
I walked
on a
out of the
first
car. I picked her up from also near Stanford. Right, got out of the car. I was like, "Oh, yep, that's the one."
date. Love at first.
Love
sight.
at first sight.
Oh
Cool.
man.
Cool.
Oh man.
Good for
Yeah,
you.
Yeah.
Good
that's
for
not-
you.
That's I don't know about that. I did really like my wife on the first date though. She was really cool. Yeah. Because
This is a trap.
well,
no. I'm saying this is a trap for him. You gotta answer correctly.
I mean,
This is how we answered, and this guy's like,
but it wasn't.
No.
It wasn't like, oh, I'm definitely gonna marry this girl though. That's a little extreme.
fine,
That's a little
fine.
extreme.
It's like, I don't know if I can trust you. But it's like you just trying to answer the question, answer it too well.
Well, you know how my wife charmed me on the first date.
How did your wife
She-
charm
She
you?
took the most whack tactic.
which was
She told me about her like ringworm infection. that she had.
Oh, what?
that would definitely turn him
Yeah,
away.
which is normally a disgusting thing. to tell someone.
yeah.
But it was
Yeah.
so like refreshingly brutal. Kind of like when you told me a really disgusting medical issue
About
First
myself.
time- actually, it was the second time. I
Second
asked you.
time.
Yeah.
Oh,
it was
you should-
pretty. It was pretty gross.
Well,
We'll
What was
talk
that?
about that and surgeries in a
But
future
you
topic.
took the same tactic to charming
I
me.
guess you like gross stuff.
Oh, I don't know. I just thought it was brutally honest, which I appreciate.
How did you introduce yourself to your wife at the dim sum restaurant?
Just normally, like how do you? It's just like how I would introduce myself to you. Like
But did she reveal any disgusting
no,
secrets?
no.
No.
It seems
Just
like a very-
It's like a very normal
Oh,
meeting.
okay. More normal.
Yeah.
And
versus
then afterwards, you just kept on talking over text.
Yeah.
Was she proactive?
No.
She was not proactive.
Oh, so you messaged her. By the way.
Yeah.
So you were proactive.
Yo, sure. Oh, you gotta understand. This is in California. Girls don't message guys
Oh, right,
proactively.
right.
It's not New York.
No, my wife messaged me first. Yeah. She
This is
Again,
You're in
it's
New York,
California.
Right.
For
Rachel,
guys in
yeah,
California,
yeah.
maybe consider moving to New York.
So yeah, New York City has the positive that there's more single women than, or for the men, it's a positive. There's more single women than.
So you kept on messaging her, basically, again and again.
Not like pestering people like that. It's like
She accepted your first message, right?
Of course she did.
Like,
yeah, that's.
I think you had to click accept or something like
No,
that.
I'm talking
no,
about
like,
after the first date.
afterward.
After the
It's
first
like-
date.
Oh,
It's like if you message people and people ghost you, then it's like you should just go away.
Did you guys like chat a lot after the first date?
No, just like see each other like once a week or something. Yeah.
Oh, so you didn't like text all the time?
No, like everyone's busy
Oh.
at work.
When did you say good night and good morning to her?
That was no one say good night and good morning. What the heck?
Really?
Like this is not Twitter where you GM
No,
people.
I mean, like I think we were texting a lot because I couldn't go out on a date with her.
He's in residency.
I was a doctor. I was in residency. Yeah,
Residency.
So
He's
I
busy.
literally was like, oh, I can't see you for like 3 weeks,
3 weeks?
month or something like that. After
He's
visiting her.
busy. He's a doctor.
Really?
Super
He's a
busy.
doctor.
Yeah,
You
I
don't
had
get
a
to-
horrible schedule.
You don't get to go home.
I think I was on a block where I was working every day or 6
Oh, wow.
days a week or something,
Brutal.
12 hours.
Wow.
Yeah. And it was just, and then there's like blocks where you have to work overnights, so you can't
Oh wow,
can't really.
it's that brutal.
She's a
Okay.
keeper.
Yeah, and then also the funny thing was when we first started dating, we lived like an hour and a half apart. Yeah. So that was-
Wow.
yeah, it's kind of a. But I had to go see her because she lived in the actual city, whereas
Yeah.
I was training in like the suburbs
Outside the city. There's a lot more to probe on this front, but in the interest of time,
It doesn't matter.
There's
Everyone's
nothing to
different.
probe.
there's
All
so much to
relationships
probe.
is
Nothing
different.
to
There's so
probe.
much.
No,
There's
no.
so much. There's so much.
It's fine. They did the slow build, the slow.
But
burn.
overall, you were the one that was you were more proactive.
Yes.
Compared to her.
Yes. In California, you gotta do that.
Yeah, I don't know. I guess I was really like instead of you took like the really focused like I'm going to win.
Find my wife. That's right.
Yeah, I was more like I'm gonna like make a profile and see like what happens, and then I was like very like
This guy paid $800, $900, and he's trying to like probe me.
And then I
It's
don't
like-
know. I don't know. The only
Make fun of
reason
me.
Look, I'm not saying
we're not
there's,
making fun
I'm
of
not
you,
saying
right?
there's a good way or a bad
Okay,
way.
got
This
it.
is just I want to have the audience like get exposure to the different
Well,
ways,
like, I
different
guess-
tactics.
I guess
of finding a wife.
Well, the moral of the story is you could do it anyway. You
Right.
really
No,
do it
the moral
anyway.
of the story is just move to an area that's more favorable.
what?
like trying to do it in California. It's like playing it on hard mode.
No, well, I'll explain. So originally, my profile was not doing well. Like I was not like on Coffee Meets Bagel.
No, but this is like normally a lot of people move to New York because of this. Like
really?
I have friends who moved to New York because
just to
of this.
find a mate.
Yes.
Yes, some people move to LA because of this.
Oh damn!
It's like if the probability if it's like against you, you shouldn't continue doing it. It's kind of insane.
I guess I am the definition of insane.
yeah. Transfer from the Google Mountain View to
Right.
Google New York
Have
City.
you been to Mountain View? It's so boring. Like I'm just saying.
Really?
I
But
go to the same bubble tea shop every
There's
single
great,
day.
There's great Asian food in that area.
No, there's
Oh,
the
that's
downtown
good,
is a
that's good.
single street. That is the downtown Mountain View.
Yeah.
There's more.
All
There's
right.
more, but we're gonna save it
We're
for
gonna have to
for the
move on.
future.
Right.
Yeah.
Two more topics. Second to last topic is around kids and how you motivate kids. Like
Oh, boy.
when your son or daughter is born, like how do you know whether that person is going to be like the good student or the
we
bad
we
student?
don't know because we're not old.
We're not there yet. But how do you maximize?
What if we botch everything and our kids become?
Motivation is hard.
Failures.
Like I can't even motivate myself sometimes. Like I don't know how you motivate another human being.
Well, I guess.
But you're going to have to try, right?
Yeah,
Like
so-
imagine your daughter comes home, 4th grade, right?
You need
in the
to
future,
give them
in the
a
future.
goal. Like what is the goal, right? Like you need
Yeah.
a goal to work towards.
So what is the goal? Like what is your structure? What would be your structure?
Like what does your kid like? What do they like to do? Like they have
so
to like
that's
something.
like
So I think we got to go back to
Yeah.
like the more basics here, because my wife does have a background in education,
right.
And all this stuff.
That's right.
And so really, I think you're trying to get the child themselves to be interested in learning and and to actually be passionate about like their schoolwork, because if you force children to learn a lot of stuff, it can actually backfire later on. Because they actually showed that like kids who went to like a very structured preschool program where because at least in America they talk about like offering universal pre-K to everyone, from like 3 or 4 years old, so all the kids, with the idea that all the kids will do better. But then there's actually been pre-K programs where the kids who went to pre-K did worse than the kids who didn't go to pre-K, and then they were trying to figure out why.
I'm trying to extract like the secret sauce. If you were to summarize the core strategy, of
Let
how
kids play until they're like 5 years old. Like, don't try to like force feed them like just like hard knowledge, because
and then at 5 years old, what happens?
you can start blending that stuff in, because really if you force them to sit at a desk and just like learn the alphabet or whatever when they're really small, it actually hampers their ability to learn later on. Like they'll actually start underperforming the other children who just didn't learn.
So that the first part is pretty easy. Let kids do whatever they want effectively. But once you hit that age limit, how will you mix the actual education in?
Oh, just
Bit by bit?
Well, I mean, they're going to school.
Yeah.
So like, but most of the school programs now try try to have it more play like. So like
Right.
the learning is more just sort of integrated into like it seems more fun to the children. So it's like they're exploring. But
What's your strategy?
I think you need to be genuinely interested. Like I was really into robotics when I was in high school. Like I was reading like physics books and like programming books myself. Like I think I want to foster that sort of
All
like
right.
passion.
Let me structure this more, like an actual case study, right? I think
All right.
4th grade is like a turning point for a lot of kids. You're not in middle school just yet, and you're in the process of exiting out of elementary school. In 4th grade, you start the grade letters turn from like O and S and
yeah, those
U,
weird,
unsatisfactory, satisfactory, and outstanding. It goes from U, S, O to A, B, C, D, E, F.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
right?
really?
In 4th grade.
I think our schools kept that until way
6th grade?
way later.
Basically, whenever that grade is whereby the letters start changing to the normal A, B, C, D, E, F grades, you start seeing kids start slotting into these different stereotypes of students, categories of students. You have the kids who are middle of the pack, boring, whatever. You have kids that are clearly underperforming. And you have like the handful of just naturally smart kids doing really, really well. And the case study here is, imagine your daughters, my son, right? They enter that grade. The first semester report card comes back and it's straight C's, hypothetically. What would you do?
I think it doesn't matter. at
Oh, it
fourth
doesn't
grade.
matter. 4th grade. Okay.
I think what
What
is your
would you
goal?
do?
Like, what is
Is-
your goal? Are you trying to get your kids to like a good school, university?
The goal is to get your kids into a good life.
Well, see, like I mean, without knowing the child, it's like
Yeah.
it's really hard to say. Like I don't think there's like one answer. You know, like
Sure.
every,
This is a
issue-
case study applied to your kid. So imagine this happened to
Right,
your
I'm-
daughter.
right,
What would you do in that situation?
I think you have to figure out why they're performing like that. If it's like maybe that's just their intellectual capacity for some children,
Right.
You know, like everyone has different levels of ability. There are some children who are going to be C students.
There are some kids that are just stupid. That's what doctor is saying.
I'm just, some kids,
Are
even,
just
even
stupid.
if performing to 100% potential will be the C student,
Right.
They're not, it's not that they're not trying hard. They're very interested. They're trying hard.
Yeah.
They're studying.
Right.
They're still going to be a C student. And there's just some people who are like that. And that's what it is.
Would you
But
accept
you have to
if your
figure that
daughter is a
out.
C student and capped at the C capacity? You would not accept that.
I don't know if that was really the innate ability then that's
This is
I don't know.
on video.
I love my daughter. She's
Yeah.
great. I don't think she'll be a C student, but I'm saying like if
What
there
if? What if?
yeah.
What would you do?
Well, if it was like more like she's not studying,
Yeah.
she's just not interested in
Right,
schoolwork,
right.
then you have to figure out what it is that is the issue there, but like I said, a lot of times children who were forced into a very structured program early on, like meaning you're sitting in class at a desk from like 8 to 3
Yeah.
the whole day,
Right.
which I'm sure was probably the schooling we had, like or similar to that.
Before I give my answer, like, same case study. What would you do?
I think what I'm optimizing, if it's like for a good life, right? Most people who are successful are because they're passionate about something, not necessarily because they have straight A's in school. So if she's passionate about something else, I'm okay with that. Like if she's really passionate about golf, then it's like, great, you're getting C's, but you're like
Such an
really
am-
good at golf. Then it's like, let's just go play golf.
Such an American dad
No, like, but
perspective.
that is
Such
like-
an American dad. This is ridiculous. Wow.
But wait. I want to finish the
Yeah.
thing before though. The
ahead.
kids who are in excessively structured programs,
Yeah.
right? Like when they're early on,
Right.
like 3, 4, 5 years old. Sometimes later on, like around 4th grade, around that age, they start to
They rebel.
They
Yeah.
rebel
Right,
against
right,
it,
right,
'cause they've been forced into so many years of sitting at a desk.
Right.
When they just like naturally, children do not want to sit at a desk for 7 hours a day. Like, it's just not like that's totally unnatural, and you've like messed up their brains by basically forcing them to sit there, and then they sort of just rebel, and then they're like just not wanting to do it, and they're just like becoming very difficult to control sometimes.
I agree.
So then like you really want to avoid that. You want to try and just avoid this scenario. Don't overly force a regimen like early on. and then later on,
Here,
you'll have less of that issue because they'll be more likely to innately want to learn and that kind of stuff.
here's my answer.
That's what the studies say.
My answer is the following. You want kids to taste success and naturally want success. You want to show them what success feels like, how it's a good feeling, and get them motivated to want more of that. Like when the teacher posts the test scores and you're in the top 3 seats or you're in the top seat and everybody's looking at you in a semi-jealous way.
See, the problem is this only works if your potential is that top 3.
I think you need to assume that.
And okay, that's the foundation.
No, you can't assume your potential.
If you zoom all the way out, if I actually had the ability to do this, I would send my kid back to China for the first couple of years to learn the foundations. Seriously, the number of students at Harvard that I know that wasn't necessarily a pure ABC. They were born in China and they came here age 8, 9, 10, that range, whereby they had the foundations basically beaten into them. They knew what work ethic meant. They had the math foundations beaten into them. They know a little bit of English, not that much, but they can very quickly learn English and catch up on the English front.
They did really well.
They did really, really well.
See, the problem with this is you're seeing. I don't think that's.
There's selection bias.
There's a really bad selection.
There's selection bias
because you're seeing the top 0.1% most academically capable children coming from China.
Mainly because their parents had the ability
from
to
the
come
0.1%
right.
smartest, most educated, wealthiest people in China.
Not necessarily wealthy.
Maybe not wealthy.
Not wealthy.
But
yeah.
like most educated, like actually any immigrant legally immigrating to America.
What's wrong with that?
Statistically is going to be in like the top 0.1% of their home nation in terms of like education because they set these barriers. They're like, you have to come, you have to have these like unique skills that you just need. You know?
I get it, but like it applies to me as well. Like if I didn't have the living shit beat out of me in China when I was like learning the basics, that's where I picked up the work ethic. I came to the US and looked around, I'm like, holy cow, this place is so easy. It's super easy. Why is everything so homework that people take, 3-4 hours to do, I finish in like 15-20 minutes. Why is everything so easy?
Yeah, but that may just be because you're very intelligent.
No, it's because I learned the same thing that they learned a couple years back.
You know what? Hold on.
Yeah.
I've been to China. There are people in China who would not be able to do that homework in 15 minutes, regardless of how rigorous the curriculum is in China.
Learning things a couple years before you actually learn it in school will
like
help
we
you.
Need to,
full
we
stop.
need to have the assumption that it's like, okay, like this guy is smart. It's like, given that he's smart, how do you get him into Harvard? Like, this is the formula that he's like, this is what you're trying to summarize.
Right.
Fine.
I'm saying like you're biased. This is not scientifically valid.
Sure, but like, given that he's smart, there's a lot of smart people. Not everyone gets to Harvard.
Right.
So it's like, this guy is summarizing, given you're smart, how do you get to Harvard?
These are the tactics, right? Like another tactic I would
go
use.
back to China?
No. Like going pre-learning, like literally you pick up, before your kid enters 4th grade, you're picking up the 4th grade textbook on your own during the summer of your 2nd grade year. And you're teaching your kids 4th grade material.
Right. But what I'm saying is that doesn't require going back to
It
China.
doesn't. China is just like a forcing function for you to do this. For somebody else to do this, somebody else to teach your kids.
Right.
If you don't want to teach your kids yourself, then this is a way.
Maybe you can start a summer camp
In China?
No,
Oh,
here.
But okay. But I would say the analog here in America.
Let me get through the points. So
Yeah.
so the first point is the kids should taste success and want success themselves. The second point is you should pre-learn. Literally, before you enter the grade, you've learned everything in that grade like a year or two before. I would also say, like, in that exact case study where your kid brings back a report card filled with C's, you need to start doing their homework for them. Seriously, you sit down with them every night and you force bootstrap the situation.
Oh man,
It's-
you're like a crazy tiger.
No. This is if that happens. Hopefully that doesn't happen. But if it does happen, you have to go in and really take control of the situation. You really need to.
So
And teach them by example.
I think that can backfire though. If they're rebelling, if the problem is rebellion,
Right.
and you are now just like trying to force them, you may actually make things
I agree.
worse.
I agree. But you need to teach the kid that like I'm not doing this because I like homework myself or I like this. No. I am doing this to put you on a trajectory whereby down the line, every hour that you work is equivalent to a week worth of money that anybody else would make. Like I'm trying to get you on a trajectory whereby you don't
It's kind of hard to understand when you're
I know.
in fourth grade.
Yeah.
I get it. But this is where like you go into sixth grade, you go into eighth grade, you go into 10th grade. It's the same message over and over
so
again.
I do want to say
I'm trying to make your life easier for you down the line.
I think optimally though.
Yeah.
You don't want your child to be able to learn 2 years ahead of the grade, right? Like their grade should be at the maximum they can learn.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So I think in that sense, there are ways to get that in America. You know, there's gifted programs,
Right.
There's specialized schools where everyone is a couple of years ahead of everyone,
Right.
And that's really where the more the kids with higher potential should be. Like they shouldn't be in the class teaching something from 2 years before.
And my ironic approach is I would prefer them being first wherever they are. Right? Like being middle of the pack in a gifted program versus like crushing it in a normal program. I would much prefer my kid crushing it in a normal program. It teaches the kid what success tastes like. It's I want to win.
So actually, though,
Yeah.
there's evidence that you don't want to succeed too early, though.
I also agree.
Because what happens is if you're number one at the bad school, then you go to college, and now suddenly you go from being number one to number.
and
I heard you cannot get a C at Harvard,
And
so
that's the
that's
thing.
not a problem.
That's right. And that's the thing, right? Like where you should finish like your
you
hard
have
work
to get into Harvard where
is-
they
is
curve
high
you to
school.
an A.
It's literally unless you want to do like an MD path or
Right.
some other path. If you're done with undergrad and you want to move into just a regular job, college grades actually don't matter that much.
Right. But no, there's evidence that like if you go to a really challenging high school, and then you go to like an easier college, like you don't go to the best college you can go to, and then you excel in college, right? You become like number one out of whatever 3,000 or something.
Yeah.
You actually end up doing. You're more likely to become like a leader later on. You're more likely to become like a Fortune 500 CEO or something like that, because then you realize that you get a confidence boost.
But there are only 500
college.
companies in Fortune 500.
Well, just in general, you tend to become a leader because you end up looking really good in college, and that actually matters more than looking really good in grade school or high school. Like if you're number one in your elementary school, no one cares later on in life.
It depends on what your final destination is.
Right.
If your final destination is the corporate world right out of college, my argument is college doesn't really matter. The brand of the college potentially matters, but college grades itself doesn't really matter. As a hiring manager myself, I don't look at GPAs for kids coming out of college. I look at what
I
college
think it does
they come
matter.
from.
Yeah, I think you do have to think about what you want to do eventually. If you want to go into medical school, what you really it's completely
Then your
different.
grades matter.
Completely different.
Your grades absolutely matter
If
in college.
If you want to work in a role where they're very selective about the college you went to,
Right.
like Wall Street or whatever certain top firms,
Yep.
where they pretty much only hire people out of the Ivies, then you want to get into the Ivy League no matter what.
So going all the way back to like interests, right? It's good if
Right.
you're able to identify, the passion and the interest sector way
Right, you
early.
need to find your goal. Otherwise, you don't know what you're shooting for.
Right.
All right, I think we're I think the problem is this is very unstructured.
It's good.
This is not like a how-to guide. This
It's
is
not
just
a how
like-
to guide. It's a discussion.
We're just shooting the shit on this topic. We have one more left today, and this is a doctor. This is a doc topic.
No, actually, Chef brought this.
Chef brought this
topic
up? Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've been watching a lot of the David Sinclair video.
He's
about
been watching too many
Who is
podcasts.
So
David
this-
St. Clair?
This guy is like
I don't
a
even know who this
biologist at Harvard.
He's a
Yeah,
biologist.
He's a PhD researcher that does a lot of work
Right.
on anti-aging.
Right. So, I mean, historically, from the Chinese emperor to like a lot of people. Everyone wants to live.
Oh yeah,
forever.
every culture has their own mythology about like
So,
trying to get immortality or something, right?
So
like,
this guy is basically like offering some drugs where you can take to like anti-aging drugs.
So I don't know if he personally offers them, but
does he have a company? He
talks about them.
I was actually gonna go to Amazon and buy some of these, but it seems a little sketchy.
He's falling for it.
Yeah. Oh no.
I
They're
mean,
expensive.
If you were to summarize his theory, right, or his recommendation, what is the summary?
Anti-aging as possible.
Yeah. Well, so I'm not,
how is it possible? Like, what do? You got to eat like a bunch of kiwi every day? Like eat a bunch of eggs? Like what do you need to do to anti-age?
I don't even know the drug's name anymore.
Oh, it's drugs. There's like chemicals.
So there's a few supplements that I think companies are trying to sell people. And I would say the problem is it's so broad. I think I'm just going to go over a couple of them today because, there's so many companies trying to sell you so many things. But I think right now the hottest ones that, everyone's talking about are like two supplements called NMN and NR. Those are the abbreviations. It's nicotinamide mononucleotide and nicotinamide riboside.
I'm not like an expert on this.
That's subtle flex right there.
Yeah,
hopefully I was
going to
just buy off Amazon.
Yeah, so they do sell on Amazon, but maybe not for long for one of them. Anyways, they both work pretty much to do the same thing.
How do the drugs work?
Yeah, so both of these supplements are supposed to increase something called NAD plus in your body, okay? And what NAD plus is used for in a lot of cells is it helps the mitochondria, which are the energy cells of your cells, like they're like these little they're
power plants.
Bacteria. They're like the power plants of your cell. Yes, thank
I
you.
remember my 5th grade biology.
Oh, great.
And so as you age, okay, the idea is that these little power plants, these mitochondria, they don't function quite as well, which is absolutely true. They start slowing down. They don't work as well. And they're not generating as much of the NAD plus themselves in your own cells. And so the idea is that by boosting the NAD plus, they're saying you'll be more like a young person. You'll feel more like a young person. I'll boost your, muscle, whatever. That's the pitch. That's the pitch. So I think my issue with this is that they're not talking about like the negatives of boosting this. I think they're basing a lot of this stuff off of animal studies, showing that maybe these mice supposedly live longer in one study or something like that, or these mice had better memory in another study. But they really haven't really proven a lot in humans if you actually look at the studies. I think what they have proven is that if you take the supplement, there'll be more NAD plus in your cells, including in your muscles. But then none of the studies really showed that that actually made people stronger or really anything. It's just, your muscles have more NAD plus.
The guy looks really young though.
Do these drugs cost a lot of money?
They do, and I think that's the problem. They don't really want to talk a lot about the negatives because they don't make any money talking about the negatives.
Do you know what the negatives are? What are some side effects?
Well, I thought it was funny as I was looking into it more. I kind of known about some of the negatives because, so nicotinamide is actually the name for vitamin B3, I believe. It's one of the B vitamins. So these are sort of like derivatives of a B vitamin. And with other B vitamin supplements, you'll see that cancers can actually grow faster because when so when you power up these cells, when you give cells more nutrients, they can grow faster. Now, not only are they generating more energy, they can divide faster. And that sounds great, except the problem is cancer cells also get fueled by these vitamins. So if you imagine your cancer cells normally divide pretty at a normal rate, whatever, for that type of cancer, but that gives your body a chance, the immune system a chance to catch those few early cells and kill them. But now you turbocharge the growth process of cancer cells. Then what happens? So that's one of the things that a lot of researchers are concerned by because they actually they haven't proven this in humans because there's just not that many people have been taking this supplement. But at least in animals, with cancer cells in the animals, they tagged some of these supplements with like radioactivity to like track them, and the cancer cells were eating up these supplements and like going into turbo. So it was not great.
Isn't there this other anti-aging path with telomeres or what's it called?
Telomerize or something.
Telomerize.
So yes. So as cells divide, the telomeres get
Telomeres.
shortened. So I think there's this theory that maybe lengthening them may somehow make you more youthful.
That's a different thing.
That's
altogether.
a whole entire other.
Is there
path.
drugs you can take for that?
There are no drugs, no. But I think they're there's really no way to lengthen your telomeres. Reasonable.
Currently.
Within reason. Yeah.
How about injecting yourself with young people's blood? Like
I think we're gonna stick to just these supplements today.
All right, we have three strategies here: injecting yourself with young people's blood. You have lengthening telomeres, and then you have this
various
mitochondria thing.
But okay, so the I guess the long and short of it is the supplements. I would not say to take them after looking pretty in depth into them. It's funny. One of the manufacturers, one of these supplements, put out a press release that I thought was really interesting because they pitched it as like a positive press release, saying that it increased the levels of the NAD plus in these cells. But then I just thought it was really funny that in the press release they also talked about the other findings that they had, and this was for NR. Okay. It said subjects had a slight and significant increase in total plasma homocysteine, a marker of methyl donor depletion, which remained within normal clinical limits. That's the way they wrote it. But do you know what that means?
No clue.
What is that?
Absolutely no clue what that means.
I thought it was interesting that they actually put this in the press release because homocysteine is a marker of inflammation. So what they're actually saying is that the people who took the supplement had more inflammation. In their blood, more of a marker of inflammation. So I was shocked that they put this in their press release because I'm like, that's a negative thing. Like you could ask your doctor what that means and they'll tell you, no, you should not have high levels of homocysteine. That's a bad thing. But it's just so funny that it's just thrown in this press release. I'm like, this is true. Like if this is true, you're saying that your supplement increases inflammation. That's probably why they put the word slight there. And then here, NR increased body weight and whole body fat percentage. So not only did the people taking the supplement get heavier, they got fatter and decreased insulin sensitivity. So then they try to explain like, why maybe this is not so bad. They're like, there's several factors to note regarding these outcomes. The small placebo group of these twins experienced increases in body weight and fat mass had similar outcomes to the other twins that took the supplement. So they're saying like people were just getting fatter in general. It's not because of the supplement. It's very, very
my takeaway is
very strange things in this press release.
That podcast guy that you're listening to, does he only talk about anti-aging on his podcast? Like, what is his focus? Is it anti-aging?
It wasn't a podcast.
Oh.
I mean, he has some other videos, but maybe he has a new podcast.
Right. What is he known for? Is he known for
anti-aging?
He is known for anti-aging.
Yeah. And I think based on what he's said, he's been taking the NMN himself. But then,
he's probably working out like 3 times a day and eating nothing but tofu.
So that's the thing. He does a lot of other things. He does calorie restriction. He only eats 1 meal a day. He's doing a lot of other things that, and I don't know.
He's doing a lot of other things and he's pushing a supplement.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he says he takes a supplement himself, but then when you look at his Twitter, he also says he discovered that the supplement's not stable on the shelf. So the supplement that he has access to is like the finest lab grade.
He actually makes it himself.
Right.
In the lab.
Yeah, right. He's like getting it from his lab. So he knows the purity is great. But then he also had a tweet that it's, NMN is not shelf stable. He just discovered that it's losing the vitamin portion of the molecule. And then he's also said in podcasts in the past that, he thought that NR is not stable. But then you look at the manufacturers of these supplements, then they say it is stable.
My conclusion,
who knows?
My conclusion is this. The reason why we're poor is because we're not pushing a supplement.
I think that the summary for these supplements
that's my summary. What this podcast isn't generating money because we're not pushing a supplement.
Yeah.
Should we be pushing a
No,
supplement?
no. We should not be
We
pushing
should push like vitamin A or something.
Well, okay.
Where's vitamin
anyways,
A?
the FDA got involved with one of these supplements.
Oh, FDA
So
got involved. Wow.
You're not going to be able to buy NMN.
Hold on.
Yeah.
The FDA got involved with the pharma with the big pharma, right?
Well, the FDA says that some drug company was researching this as a real, one of them, NMN, as a real drug.
But my point is the FDA
so you can no longer sell it as a supplement.
But FDA didn't go after this guy.
He's not selling it.
Well, he doesn't sell it. He doesn't sell it.
Does he get
just talks about
Does
it.
he get a kickback for promoting it?
No.
He says no, but it's confusing because all these
BS.
guys hold patents
BS.
on things,
BS.
and I don't know how this works.
Bullshit.
I think you'll have to ask him how that works out, but.
This guy
He
almost
definitely-
bought some supplements from Amazon. This guy came this close of buying supplements from Amazon before you told him
I think
it potentially could cause cancer.
Mostly what he does is he hypes
and gets a
this
kickback.
stuff up. He hypes this stuff up, and I feel like
Hey, you don't know if
no,
he gets
no
a
one's
kickback.
talking about like, hey, will people end up with more cancer later on? Like, look, where's the
Of course
study?
not.
Where's the
You
study?
mentioned you might get cancer from this. He's going to sell 0 vitamins.
Yeah, it's the same. But in his defense, the same thing applies even to regular vitamin supplements. Most people should not be taking excessive amounts of
agree.
vitamins
I
for
agree.
no reason.
I agree.
Yeah. So,
But when you're sick, you
You should
drink
take
a lot
you
of
should-
vitamin
you should
C.
take-
That's an excessive
you should
amount
take
of
drugs
vitamin
when you're
C.
sick.
a specific vitamin that your body needs at that moment is different than like just
Constant,
randomly
yeah.
taking constant amounts of huge doses of random vitamins in like way in excess of what your body actually needs. Like people should remember that, you're not just feeding the healthy cells, you're feeding the bad cells,
That's
the
right.
not so good cells in your body that your body should be trying to get rid of, and you don't want to turbocharge the growth of any of these cells. So that's my takeaway. So yeah, we'll talk about other things. There are other things that do show some promise, for like life extension, but it's not for everyone. Not everyone should just don't just. There's no magic pill. You're not gonna live forever.
My other takeaway is we should be selling some merch or selling something on this show.
We should. No one's gonna
No
buy.
one's gonna buy it.
We have 170 subscribers. Would you buy our merch?
What would you
Leave
want?
a comment in the comment
What would you
section
want us to
below.
push? What it could be like
What scam?
toys,
What scam
no,
should the
toys,
tell people?
toys,
We're
or
done,
like
we're done.
book bags, or like school supplies. I don't know, like dad only stuff.
Oh, you took the headphone off.
We're done here. No pushing.
I don't know. Dads only. What should the dad sell? This is actually a good question.
It's a good question for the
Sticker
audience.
packs.
Sticker packs.
Sticker packs for the kids.
Why
Kids
don't you
love
try to
stickers.
provide real value?
What? Stickers are real value.
Yeah, it brings
Kids
a lot
love
of
stickers.
jollies.
I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah. If you have any comment ideas, leave us a note below.
Yeah.
We'll try to cover them in future episodes. We're going to work on this 100 subscriber special episode.
it's a lot of work.
It's going to be a lot of work. The problem lately is just logistics, Logistics.
We're
trying
gonna
to get everyone together
drug
at the
this
same
guy
place.
and drag him to a Motel 6. That's what's gonna
I don't
happen.
want to go to Motel 6. Let's go to Ritz-Carlton as we have agreed.
Let's go ride It's a Small World at Disney World for 24 hours, huh?
Please like and subscribe. Thank you.
Terrible.